What's up, runners? This is Coach David Deleon here at OTL Fitness in Austin, Texas, and I want to give you those 3 strength exercises that every runner should be doing. This is going to allow you to be a more efficient, a faster, and a stronger runner, which I know all of you want. So the 3 things, guys, they're going to be an RDL, a Romanian deadlift, it's going to be band walks, and it's going to be a Superman pull down. 2 of these things are really, well actually all 3 of these things are really going to focus on your posterior chain. A lot of what we do in running involves a lot of posterior chain, but in our training and in our exercises, we focus more on everything that's in front of the body. So we want to work posterior chain today. So the first movement we're going to do, I'm going to have a kettlebell with me. Now, don't get lost right now. Don't think, oh, I don't have a kettlebell, I can't do this. Stay with me here. I'm going to give you some alternatives to do if you don't have a kettlebell at home. But with the RDL, you have a kettlebell. It doesn't need to be very heavy. The way we're going to approach this kettlebell, the kettlebell is going to be between the feet, and my feet are only going to be about hip width apart. I'm not going out real wide right now. I'm keeping them only hip width apart. Now I'm going to turn to the side because it'll help me better explain to you what you do next. So once you're in that position, we're going to sit the hips down with a nice flat back, and we're going to pick up that kettlebell. Now from here, keeping the shoulders down and back. We don't want to round the shoulders forward. Keeping the shoulders down and back, I'm going to hinge at the hip, push my butt back, and then I'm going to stand up. Push my hips back, stand back up. And the key word there is hinge at the hip. I'm not pushing my knees forward in this motion. In an RDL, what I'm doing is acting like there's a wall behind my butt, and I'm pushing my butt back as far as possible, like I'm trying to touch my butt to that wall. So again, picking it up, shoulders down and back, hinge at the hip, push the hips back, 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 and then return back up to the top. For anyone who's new to that, I would only suggest about 3 sets of 12 repetitions. The other thing that you can do once you start getting used to it is then you can start adjusting your feet. What we like to do here in the gym with a lot of our runners is we'll start with our feet narrow, 10 reps. Take them shoulder width apart, 10 reps. Take them even wider than shoulder width, another 10 reps. This is going to be a great hamstring and glute strengthening exercise, which is what a lot of you runners definitely need. Now, the second exercise is going to require a band. Now, any gym you go to may have this band. If not, I'll throw a link up here to Amazon where you can buy these bands super cheap. And no, they're not mine, so I'm not trying to sell you any of my stuff. Just some bands that I know that we buy for this gym that you can use. Now, what you would do here is you put this band around your ankles. I don't like to go too low, don't like to go too high. I definitely stay below my calf muscle. Now from this position here, I start with my feet shoulder to hip width apart. If I'm going to walk to my left hand side, I'm going to turn my left toe slightly in. Notice it's not out. This is really important. What we're trying to strengthen here is our upper glute, or the glute medius. If I turn that toe out, when I step, I'm going to be using my hip flexor, which is something that we already use over and over again in our running motion. So we need to turn that toe slightly in, and we're going to take steps out to the side. Notice that when I take those steps, I'm not taking big steps where I have to lean to the side. My shoulders stay stacked up on top of my hips the entire time, and they're very small steps. I also never lose tension in this band the entire time. So I would take my 12th step, and then boom, I'd go the other way. Another 12 steps. Just nice and steady. None of these exercises are meant to be rushed. When you're done, take your time. You're definitely going to feel the burn in the top part of that booty. If you don't, you may be doing something wrong here. So stay low, hips down low, turn the lead toe in, whichever foot you're stepping with, turn that toe slightly in, take your steps. Going to the other side, toe in, take your steps. If you're just going to forget which toe to use, just turn both toes slightly in. They don't need to be here. Just a slight pivot inward, and that's going to be to help develop your glute medius, and you'll also get a little bit of lower back exercise in there as well. Now, taking that off, be careful when you take it off. Again, I would suggest 3 sets there, 12 steps to the right, 12 steps to the right, 12 steps to the left, that's 1. 12 to the right, 12 to the left, that's 2. 12 to the right, 12 to the left, that's 3. Take breaks as needed. Now, the third one we're going to go over, you're going to say, why do we even need to do this one? I don't really know what it has to do with running. It's a very posterior dominant movement. When we're running, our lower back is in charge of a lot. When we start to fatigue, we definitely don't want to go into this slumping motion. We have to have a strong upper back and a strong lower back to help stay in a good erect posture while we run. Now, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take it to the ground. Let me move all this stuff out of the way. We're going to take it to the floor. And from here, I'm going to get the okay from our camera person that they can see me. From here, we're going to take our hands out in front of the body like we're Superman. We're going to lift our feet. I'm going to pull my elbows down and back like I'm going to touch my elbows together, staying up nice and tall. And then I'm going to reach back out and touch my fingertips together. Reach in, reach out. Reach in, reach out. It's very important that when you reach in, you're really pulling those elbows down and like you're going to touch your elbows together and you're squeezing those shoulder blades together. Those are those muscles that are going to help us stay down and back whenever we're in our run. By keeping the feet elevated off the ground, again, we're going to work that lower back. The lower back, as a lot of you runners know, start to go for a lot of people as they get further into their mileage. Let's strengthen that back so the further you go, the stronger your back is going to be. It's going to help you get through that race. So these are our quick 3 exercises that you can do at home, runners, that you definitely need to add to your routine. You can add them before or you can add them after a short run. I would say if you have something where you're working more speed, these are great accessory movements that you can add to any type of speed day or any day off, because these things aren't really going to tax you very much, but they're going to be so helpful when you're in your deep mileage and you're going to say, man, sure, I'm glad I followed Coach David's 3 exercises that I can do at home to make me a better runner. Thank you so much. If you have any questions, be sure to hit us up. Be more than happy to help you guys. Coach David, I'm out of here.